Thank you, Karen. Hi, everybody. My name is Jasmine. I've been working as the project coordinator on the See Myself project since, I think, last March, yeah. And I basically got started with this as a third-year student working or volunteering as a student representative in the Awards Gap Working Group for AHSS. And that progressed to me moving on to becoming a race equality advocate and just advocating around the university, anything to do with equality, diversity and inclusion all round. And now I've just gone on to continue this as an alumni student. Doesn't make sense, as alumni. And I'm here to just sort of spread the word and just say why it's important to not only carry on equality, diversity and inclusion inside university, but outside university, and carry on practices that I've learned about and that I've taught to other CPD events, for example, students and staff, and why it's important to sort of maybe bring these into the workplace as well and spread the word about equality, diversity and inclusion. So I will be co-hosting this event with Natalia Lopez as well, and I'll hand over to Natalia now to introduce herself.
Hello, excuse me. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all. My name is Natalia Lopes. I'm a media student on my second year. I just recently started engaging with race and equality and working with the projects. I'm really excited to work and get to know more about the projects and be more active this year, because I think it's very important what they're doing, especially coming from another country. Sometimes it's hard to get involved with things. So this is a great way to create a positive impact. And I'm delighted to introduce our guest speaker, that is Blessing. So I'm gonna pass the word to Blessing. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining today. So I studied graphic design at Anglia Ruskin, and I graduated, I think, 3 years ago now. And I was involved in different departments. I was part of the buddy scheme. I was a course rep, and I was also a BME rep. So yeah, I'll be talking a bit about my journey and my motivations and values as well. Next slide. So I first got interested in graphic design around 10 years ago, and I didn't have any paid opportunities yet, but I was able to help out at my church youth group, and they gave me the opportunity to design a flyer. So that's on the next slide. Yeah, so yeah, it was a really nice opportunity to spread the word about the event, and there were also a lot of Black guest speakers as well, and there were a lot of messages about empowerment, and also there was also a lot of encouragement in the youth group for youth to get involved and to showcase their talents as well. So yeah, it was a great opportunity, and I also got some experience working on an event organization team as well, and learned how to work with different people. And yeah, so on to the next slide. And so the flyer I did there, that actually helped my application to college. And so the work on the left, that's one of the things I did in college. So this was just a project where we had to raise awareness about something we were passionate about. So I just wanted to do a simple spray painted image about liberty and about injustice as well. And I was really grateful to have the opportunity at college to try lots of different design styles. And we also looked at different ways to express our identity, and also we looked a lot at design history from around the world as well. And the work at the top, Hope, this was for I think it was a poster competition in my first year. So I was thinking of different inspirational messages, but then in the end I felt that sometimes you don't have to be too explicit about a message. You can have a word and a color scheme that gives a positive feeling without having to put too many words into it. So so yeah, that was a really interesting project to work on. And the one below this is from my second year. So because the story in Noughts and Crosses it's a really powerful story, like that reverses the whole like concept of race. And there was a penguin design competition for students, so I worked on that design, and that was also for my module as well. Next slide. And then this is one of the pieces that I've done at work. So I'll talk in a bit more detail about like how I got here, but the company I work at now, they do a lot of work with charities and companies that want to create positive change. And so this college, they run the IB program, and that also helps to raise awareness about cultures and lifestyles around the world, and raise a lot of awareness. So it was really interesting learning about how all of that works, and also feed that into the design, because I feel there is a lot of positive change that you can make through designing. And yeah, also working with different charities, because I know sometimes charities don't have a big budget, but it's a great opportunity to use your skills to help with like different organizations that really help the wider community. Next slide. So I think it dates back to like primary school, when I wanted to become a prefect, but I didn't get it. But then fast forward, and I was able to become course rep in university, and then I found that there was actually an opportunity to represent students as the BME rep. So I applied for that, and the post is on the next slide. So I applied the first year, and I got it, and I had a really great time with that. And I went up for election the second time, and I wanted to try more things. So I was really grateful we were able to run different events and forums, and I was able to collect like to do like a survey on student thoughts about how the curriculum is going, how they feel about events. And yeah, we're able to hold a lot of different events, and I was also able to meet with the reps at Cambridge University that also do a similar thing, and seeing how they do that, because obviously they're a much bigger university with lots of different colleges. And I was able to sit in at one of their meetings and seeing how they run that, and then also seeing what we could do at the university through the Students' Union. And then I also went up for the vice president role, and I came second place for that. But I think the whole experience was really rewarding, because even the whole campaign process, I was able to reach out to a lot of students, and some of them were talking about their worries and the kind of changes that they wanted at university. And then a lot of that was passed onwards to the people that did end up continuing the following years as well. The next slide. So yeah, so this leads into creating opportunities. That I noticed that sometimes it may feel like there isn't the opportunity you want, but I realized that actually you might have the opportunity to create one. Like with the Students' Union, they give the possibility to create your own society, to volunteer at different charities, even with the departments as well, like becoming a buddy and being able to support other students, becoming a rep, and putting your ideas forward to do events that can really have a good impact. The next slide. So I put 2 articles here that I did for Ruskin Journal. So I did I think it was a rebrand. I did like a logo rebrand for them, and then they created this graphic design role for me to join. And I also I also really enjoy writing. So I did some articles for them, and also just talking about how important representation is and sharing culture, and just talking about how you can get more involved and be a volunteer, and how you don't have to start with something big. You can start with something small, even if it's just like one idea, and then you and another person feel the same way about that idea. There is a lot of support at the university that can really help with that. So I was really grateful because I was able to run some really fun events for Global Week and also throughout the year. And we also did some Black History Month events as well, which were really interesting. And the discussions were really thought-provoking as well. The next slide. Yeah, so the forum I did a little survey, which I designed. And then I also spoke with the coordinators at the Students' Union. So they gave some advice on like how to display the data, and which is a good way to lay it out so there'll be more participation. So yeah, this research actually informed the president and the vice presidents as well. So that really helps them with their campaigns, because they had like more time to really delve into bigger campaigns. So because I was only a volunteer, and of course I had my classes as well, so I wasn't able to do like sorry, one second. I perhaps wasn't able to do as much because I wasn't doing it full time, but yeah, they really helped a lot with expanding the reach of the different events. And I was also the administrator of the K-pop Society as well, and we were able to feed in like a lot of cultural awareness and sharing our cultures together. So we had this really nice like international showcase event where we did like a little presentation of our culture and the things that we really love about where we come from. And we even brought our own food, and that was really nice as well. And yeah, so for Black History Month, we also had like a panel discussion on cultural appropriation, and one of the speakers was someone from the Students' Union from Cambridge University called Lola, and she did a lot of campaigning for decolonization of the curriculum, and she was sharing her thoughts on cultural appropriation. And we had a variety of different panelists with from like different backgrounds, and yeah, just talking about how you can respect the origins of where things come from and respect each other and share culture in a respectful way. So that, yeah, that was a really fruitful panel. The next slide. Yeah, so I think with everything, like the key thing is to think about like what your values are and what you want to gain from everything, because there can be situations where you can feel really demotivated, and I feel like sometimes it might feel like things aren't working out, but I realized that that there are a lot of people that can support you, and it's good to find like a network, even if it's just like one or two people, a network of people that can really support your journey and point you in the right direction. And there are so many different ways to make a difference, I think. And I noticed that if you really solidify your values, then that can also feed into so many different aspects of your career as well. Like when I was applying for the company I work for, I was looking at their values and the kind of companies they work with, and that was really inspiring for me as well. And even now, still working there, I really enjoy the kind of work that we do, and seeing the impact that has on people's lives as well. Like one of the campaigns is called Cambridge 2030, and it discusses the disproportionate so I forgot the word. I think the ratio between like the the most wealthy and the scale between the most wealthy and the poorest in Cambridge, and there was a campaign to provide laptops for students, because during the lockdown, there were a lot of students that needed to do their work, but they couldn't afford a computer. So like several different people from different companies and in the general community donated their laptops, and like thousands of students were able to get laptops to work. And I think, yeah, that's the kind of thing that it starts off with an idea, and like at university, there's the opportunity to really figure things out, and if things don't work out, you have that support system at university. And then when you leave university, you have all of that experience, and then that can even feed into your work, or if you want to do more volunteering after university as well. Next slide. So recently I joined the mentorship program at Anglia Ruskin, and it was a really great opportunity, because I remember when I did some mentorship while I was a student at uni to newer students, that I remember like even when I first joined the university, I had a buddy, and that really helped me to settle in and to learn more about the different resources that I might not have known about. And it was nice to know that from my first year. And even then I was still using those resources into my third year. So yeah, I signed up to the mentorship program, and it was 5 sessions, and I helped the student give feedback on their portfolio, their CV, and also give them insight on what it's like in my career and the kind of job that I have. And yeah, I think it's so important to mentor, that it can seem intimidating, but in the simplest way, it's like if you've gained something that has benefited you, you can give it back to someone that might not have had the opportunity to have that, or they might not have had easy access to it, and that you can explain things through your perspective in a way that can appeal to like-minded people, like people that are in a similar field to you, or that want to get into the same career as you. So yeah, and I think it helped me a lot with like leadership skills and like presentation as well, because the student did have some questions, and I realized that, oh, I do actually know this, and I can provide that help. So yeah, afterwards I just wrote a little article about that, and it was nice to reflect over the whole experience as well. So yeah, it's nice to know that even after you finish university, there's so many opportunities to still give back and to continue the cycle as well. The next slide. Yeah, so yeah, I found like a nice free poster that summarizes it, that that is really important to give back as well. And that I think with representation, it can seem intimidating, but if there is an area you're passionate about, and you really want to share that with people, that's still you representing, because you have your own unique identity, you have your own unique voice, so you can really inspire people in that specific area. Like I remember, like when I was in school, that I was a bit worried that, oh, if I didn't study computer science, if I didn't study physics, then was I smart enough, or like if my grades weren't okay, then could I still make an impact? But actually there is an area that you can do, even if it's not the conventional way. There is still like a space to fill. Because I noticed that sometimes if it's when you realize, actually it would have been great if I had this, but you can fill that gap, and then that still benefits someone else. So that your journey might have been difficult, but actually you giving back makes the journey less steep for someone else, because you've been able to fill that gap. The next slide. yeah, I think that's the.
Okay, so thank you so much, Blessing. We can start the Q&A. So if anyone wants to ask a question, the chat is right there, and I want to ask something. So Blessing, thank you so much. You're very inspiring. I wanted to ask you, what was your biggest challenge, like transitioning from university and then to the markets, and more focus on design. Have you ever thought about freelance? And my last question is more like asking for advice, is like, what would be your main advice for students? Like the first thing we should focus. And yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
I would say my biggest challenge was that I think there is a lot of pressure to get a job as soon as you finish university, and sometimes there's other people that have got a job even before they finished. And because I was also considering being the vice president, so I hadn't actually been thinking about plans after university until I realized I didn't get it. And then that was when I was thinking, okay, I really need to develop my portfolio. I really need to start looking. But what really helped me was the employability department, because I was able to see lots of different opportunities, and I just kept sending my CV out, really. Because yeah, sometimes you might get a ton of rejections, but there will be someone that is interested. That sometimes it might take a couple months, it might take a year or so, but everyone's journey is quite different. And sorry, what was your last question?
If you could give like a piece of advice in general to people that are like undergraduate right now, postgraduate, what would you say?
I would say to really like keep an eye out for the different like departments at uni, because there are a lot that can help. And I got so much help with looking through my CV and seeing which things needed to be changed, and even going through my portfolio. And I did go directly to my lecturers as well, to ask them that if there's anything I could change, what could I change here, or even like looking at my coursework as well. When I wasn't sure about my grades, I even went to ask that, what could I change here? And then I got a lot of advice. And I think, yeah, it's good to, if you see, if there's someone at uni that really inspires you, even if it's like your lecturer or something, or a member of staff, that it can seem a bit scary, but it is worth maybe like booking a meeting with them just to ask for some advice, because sometimes they may really understand like what you've gone through, even if it might have been like a couple of years since they studied, that there might be some tips that they might be able to give that maybe isn't something that came up in a lecture, but if you speak one-to-one, you can get a lot of advice. Like and even like on the freelance note, technically I've been doing freelance since I started designing, but some of it wasn't really paid, but there were opportunities where people wanted designs done, and they said, oh, you do design, do you want to do this? And I just seized that opportunity, and even though it wasn't paid, I put it on my portfolio. And I also looked at freelance opportunities at the university. Like there was a charity that advertised on the Students' Union website, and they wanted a brochure done, and they were even apologizing to me that they didn't have the budget to pay me, but I was really grateful for that opportunity, and I put that on my portfolio. And then like sometimes even lecturers see opportunities and they recommend it to students. So I was able to get an opportunity with another charity through my lecturers. And so yeah, sometimes it does take a lot of legwork, but making yourself known that you are available, and also if you have friends that are interested in also developing your profile, so like LinkedIn and Instagram, I know they're really big with design. If it's like video, YouTube is really big as well. So yeah, I think yes, I think especially with the pandemic, it has been really difficult to get experience in a physical way, but having a look at like different social media platforms and digital platforms and seeing how you can keep developing your profile. And yeah, I know the employability department also have some great workshops on that as well. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. If anyone wants to ask a question, just unmute yourself.
I have a question. Sorry, I was just managing the participants as well. I think me and Natalia are sort of thinking along the same lines about asking for advice. So I'd say in terms of being, I was listening to you saying about being BME rep and stuff, like what would you say inspired you? What was the strive you had in order to become a BME rep and wanting to go on to be vice president as well?
I think because I felt like there was a gap in terms of representation. Like there was representation I wanted to see, and I was thinking that if I did want this, maybe I could be that person to provide that representation to other people. And sometimes I feel like if someone else isn't going to do it, then I might as well put myself forward and see how it goes. So but yeah, I noticed that sometimes you have more capacity than you realize, that it takes like taking that leap of faith, really, that sometimes it's scary, but you realize it helps a lot. And I think just seeing the impact it has on other people, like even I remember like when I was speaking to some students and they said, oh, we have a BME rep, and suddenly they were so excited to share their different ideas on the kind of events they wanted and things like that. And so yeah, I think like people seeing a face that represents them and someone that they can talk to, it can really make a difference, I think.
Which does embody the seeing myself event, to be honest.
Yeah,
you know, because a lot of people would, like you said, I mean, I know I've been in that position as well, where you feel like, oh, you want to say things, but you feel like, oh, should I or shouldn't I? But you feel like if someone doesn't do it, who will, like you said? So you doing that gives a platform for everybody else to sort of, I don't know, have their voice heard or your experiences heard, but also inspire them to go on to do bigger and better things within, you know, the BME or BAME community and institutions as well. So
yeah, definitely. Because I think even uni is a good like step off point, because I've seen people that they've been a rep at uni and then I see them go on to like national representation and all of that stuff, and it's incredible seeing like the trajectory that some have, like even like seeing some people that they seemed like so shy and quiet at first, and then all of a sudden they really develop in that role, and then they really take it further into their career as well. So that's really interesting.
I have a question, if I may, Blessing. I was just wondering, when you started getting your love for design, where that came from, if there's anybody who particularly inspired you, or something that you had from childhood, or what brought you into that career. You mentioned there were so many other careers perhaps you thought should have done, but where did you start with this?
I think like 2012 was when I realized that graphic design was a term. Like before I did notice it, but then I didn't realize it could actually be a career. But when because I'm really interested in like movies, TV shows, superheroes, and then when I saw the kind of things that fans would create, and then also when I saw like official publications, and then I saw at the end graphic designer, and then it had the name, and I was thinking, oh, graphic designers do this kind of thing. And then that's when I started looking more into it, and I realized actually this is so interesting, because I was really passionate about computer science and web design, web development, but then I didn't know, oh, web design is part of graphic design. So actually this was a much bigger thing than I realized. And actually I was more interested in the graphic design side. That's what had drawn me to coding, and coding is all like the building blocks of all of that, but the design is what makes it look good. So yeah, I think that's when it started connecting together. And I think it took a couple of years for me to realize, oh, actually design is a really big thing. Like when I first went to college, I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll try college for a year and see how it goes. And then like the course that they did at the college was really good, because it explored so many areas of art and design, and how art links to design, art history, and it had a lot of like physical craft, so like building things, like the spray painting thing I showed as well, like painting, and yeah, I think the more I learned more about it, the more I realized that it's such a powerful tool as well, and like seeing how graphic design feeds into everything. Like there was one exhibition I went to, Can Graphic Design Save Your Life? And it talks about how graphic design works in the medical field, and yeah, I think seeing how like actually if you do want to make a difference, you can actually do that through design as well. That I think that inspired me quite a lot.
Well, I have a second part to that question really then. So where does it come from, this desire to make a difference? Is this something that you've had from early on? Has it developed just as you've been going along, or is it something just happened as you were a student really? It seems this is what you're doing in your career, even your choices of where you work and everything.
Yeah, I think it's just something like as I went through my student experience, and also just seeing like different things that didn't work out, and just wondering that is there a way to make things better, that even if it wasn't smooth for me, could it be smoother for people in future that are coming down the same line, and yeah, also just looking forward into like into the future of what could be, I think.